Sports Talk in the Man Cave. We are back once again after week one of the NFL and some NBA games that kind of stunned everybody. So let's first start, since the NBA just happened yesterday with that magic game that happened. Tell us about Game 7. Carlos, why don't you start and tell us what you think about what happened there?
I I think it was the biggest choke job in NBA playoff history
By the Clippers?
by the Clippers. Even though I did mention to you all that the Spurs 1 seed, I don't remember what year it was, Spurs 1 seed lost to the 8 seed Grizzlies, but that series wasn't that close. And they weren't superstars like Kawhi and PG on the same team. But this team was supposed to win the finals. And Denver had no business competing in this series. They were down 3-1, how it should have been, and they came back from 3-1. And then in Game 7, Kawhi Leonard, PG-13 combined for 22 points. That's terrible. I was saying over and over how Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the NBA, how he had surpassed LeBron last year, which I believed it. And then he comes and does this. That's terrible, and I hope people eat him up for it, because if it was LeBron performing like this in a Game 7 in the second round against the Denver Nuggets like this, he would never hear the end of it. So it was more of a choke job, but Jamal Murray came to ball yesterday. He had 40 points.
Wasn't there a finals where LeBron just kind of quit in the game? Well, maybe not a Game 7. It wasn't a Game 7. He probably just quit in a sweep or something.
Well, that series wasn't that close, and look at the team he went up against was a good team. They were in the finals too, and
I don't put all the blame on Kawhi. I think Paul George didn't turn out the player that he should have been this year. He needs some help, and Paul George didn't really help out as much. And basketball is a lot about matchups, and I think they just met their match. I mean, this team probably didn't have the names that the Clippers have in those two players, but they met their match, and they played very good defense on them. When the fourth quarter came around, I was watching the game early, and I know that my brother-in-law said, "What happened to Murray?" I told him that dude comes on in the fourth quarter, and sure enough, they killed him in the fourth, and there was nothing the Clippers could do about it. It seemed as if they were just trying to get the game to the fourth, just so that, like, they saved some of their energy for them in the fourth, and they knew that.
I'm still in shock about the whole thing, but it was not a matchup thing. The Denver Nuggets were hungry, or these guys were looking past the Denver Nuggets already. They were already hold on. They were already thinking we won the championship. They were talking smack since the beginning of the year, telling everybody we own LA, and they could not do anything. And also, what happened to Kawhi is being, offensively is fine, but what happened to his defense? I thought he was such a good defensive player. Who was he guarding? Because everybody lit him up. He tried guarding Jokic, he lit him up. He tried guarding Murray, he lit him up. What happened to his defense?
As a matter of fact, Jokic didn't do a damn thing. I mean,
he turned into a mitten. He wasn't the claw, he was a mitten.
Somebody lit him up. A guy that scored 6 points lit him up. Did he score all 6 on him or what? I doubt that.
No, but who was he guarding then?
And I know that later on in the game, he was playing pretty good defense.
It was a choke job.
And later on in the game, I saw them dribbling right by him.
They were up 3-1. They had no business losing that series. No business at all.
So I have a question for you guys. I have a question for you guys. So, who does the best player in the NBA go to now? If it's not LeBron,
It's LeBron. It is LeBron. It's LeBron. He's been playing. Look,
Carlos says he's a stat guy only when it's convenient to him. But if you want to say stat guy, AD.
No.
Listen. AD leads the Lakers in every single category across the line except for assists.
Okay, who runs the team? Does AD run?
I understand that, but you always say his numbers, right? You always say his numbers.
No.
Who guards the basket?
When it's close, listen.
Who guards all 5 players?
Listen. Who guards all 5 positions? LeBron.
No, AD does.
AD does not guard point guards.
Who was the defensive player of the year runner-up?
Runner-up. Okay, we want to count runner-ups now. Okay.
There's a reason for that. Was
listen.
LeBron even top 5?
Listen. Who's in the MVP running? Who are the top 2 that they're talking about? LeBron and Giannis. They're not talking about
all the
AD.
credit.
They're not talking about AD.
Okay, so then
So-
the numbers. Okay, so numbers lie here then.
No. They don't lie. But who's giving him the opportunity to score? What has AD done by himself? There's a history of that. There's a history of that. With Rondo, there's a history of that. We've seen
he's not a point guard.
what AD does without LeBron.
And LeBron would not be there without AD either.
No.
Look what happened last year.
LeBron has taken all these other teams there, no matter what team he's been on.
We're talking about right now. We're talking about right now.
Last year, he was getting ready to get rid of those guys.
We're talking about right now. For who? For AD? We're talking about right now.
Right now, LeBron is the best player on that team.
Look, Carlos, the only point that I have is that you can't have it both ways. Either the numbers lie or they don't. Okay? You're saying
the numbers
never lie.
AD's a great player.
Numbers never lie.
AD's a great player.
Than him across the board.
AD's a great player. The numbers are not lying to you. No, don't worry about that. But LeBron is better. Without LeBron, none of those numbers would be there. Without AD, LeBron's numbers would be there.
His numbers. AD has better numbers.
AD has never had these numbers.
He has better numbers. No, you're not letting me talk. Go ahead.
AD has never had these numbers.
I guess we'll figure that out as the season
he does.
No, look at his history.
Out there is Giannis, and that's it.
Giannis is watching the games right now, Charlie.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. He didn't have the team, and his coach may be.
But nobody agrees. Nobody agrees, man. Okay, that's fine.
And how about you? Hey, are you play the middle or what? You're playing defense here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hope the ball hits you on the head.
Well, I guess what we all agree is that the Clippers, I think that they were overconfident in the game, and now they're the laughing stock of the NBA because everybody's laughing at them. And it wouldn't have been that way if they weren't so arrogant.
Well, I think we'll move on from the NBA because we're gonna wait for that final series, see if the Lakers even make it there, which they will, I'm sure. But we'll see how that goes. And we're going to move on to the NFL because a lot of good games happened this past week 1, which we weren't even sure if it was going to happen. So I was kind of happy. There was no fans, but those cardboard fans that were on the stands, that's it. So, but it worked. They made it seem like it was very realistic with the noise and the fan noise that they were putting on TV, which actually added to it.
Yeah, it does. It always does. But damn, let's get to that Cowboy game. Is this coach make those stupid decisions? What is he trying to prove? I'm dumb? Or because it's so that Dak agrees with him, that Dak says, okay, and he shows that he has confidence in us. He shows that, no, that's baloney. You do the right thing. The only thing he's doing is what these other players do. Like they take the blame, even though it's not their fault. They take the blame, and he's just trying to give the coach credit for, that was a good move on his part. That was baloney. You kick the field goal, tie the damn game with all that time left.
I agree with that. You got to kick the field goal in that situation. If you're tied, maybe you can go for it, but you're down 3 and you're in a position to score. You haven't been moving the ball well at all. You need to kick the field goal.
Yeah. And especially he's a good coach. He doesn't have the experience with these players, how they're going to respond in these situations. And I think that the field goal would have made more sense. You try to tie it up, and then you go for the win afterwards.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's an even playing field. Both teams didn't have a preseason, and I knew coming into the game that when you don't have a preseason, when you're not having full contact and stuff like that, you're gonna have injuries. And what happened with the Cowboys is that they had the worst luck with that because their 2 defensive tackles got out right away. The tight ends out for the year. They had a couple of other injuries, and I think that took a toll on their D line where they were just running them out. And another thing. I think that our plays just looked exactly like last year. They were very predictable. They were very predictable. If you notice that on our toes, they had us on our heels. Everything was misdirection. Everything was screens, misdirection, and we have a very versatile quarterback, and we don't use him the way he's supposed to be used. And that's the issue that I have with the offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if the Rams had enough time to put in misdirection like that, all the linemen pulling one direction, like a zone block deal, and the quarterback pulling out the other way, and doing stuff like that. We could have done it just as easy.
And it does wonders, Charlie. It does wonders with a broken down line that we have. We're starting a rookie undrafted defense. Offensive tackle out of Texas Tech. So I mean, doing stuff like that does wonders for him, where the pressure won't be all on him, because it seemed like every single guy that was on that side was rushing in unopposed.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but it's just it wasn't right the way that we just looked very predictable.
Yeah, it was disappointing. The defense was very disappointing. They couldn't really stop the Rams at all. The Rams ran a few plays, and they just kept on confusing them.
I'm surprised that they only scored 20, but because it looked like if they were running all over us pretty bad.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about the call? Do you guys think it was a good call or not?
What call?
I mean, the interference call, it could have gone either way. I mean,
well, it was a better call than not kicking the field goal.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say. Their hands were out there. But
they could have called either one, I guess, and him for holding them and the other guy for pushing off.
He sold it really well. That's the problem.
Yeah, he did.
He sold it, right?
Yeah.
He sold it well, and so congratulations to him, man.
Yeah, I think that he knew that he got beat, and he wanted to kind of show everybody that I didn't get beat. He pushed me off, and when he went like that, they gave him the veteran call.
Yep, they did.
Sold it pretty well in real time.
Wasn't it that he's one of the highest paid back there as a safety?
He's the highest paid ever.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. I think Dak took a little bit long in the pocket sometimes. We didn't really get to see downfield where the receivers were. So I don't know if he actually missed receivers that were open or not, if he didn't let it go. So I'm going to say, and he threw it, to the short passes all the time.
But that's been very critical. That's been very critical because I did see a lot more football games. I saw Big Ben holding the ball forever. I saw Tom Brady holding the ball forever. I saw him throw horrible passes and missing.
Listen.
And
Dak isn't Ben or Tom. So
no, he's a lot better than he performed a lot better than they did.
If you're gonna hold the ball forever, you better average more than 6.8 per attempt. If you're gonna hold the ball.
Well, actually, last year he almost led for most of the season per attempt.
We're talking about this year again, aren't we? We're talking about this year. If you're gonna hold the ball,
one game. So you're basically
talking about this game. If you're gonna hold the ball for that long, this one game, you better average more than 6.8 yards.
Well,
if you're gonna hold the ball that long.
Yeah,
I would like to see them take more shots down the field. I don't understand why. I would like to see him take more shots down the field. I don't understand why every time we're like and I'm going back to last year and that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that every time we're behind, I notice that he's taking shots downfield and there's always a what if catch. The guy drops it. There's a call there. Yeah. How come they're not taking these shots down the field early on? I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator or I don't know if it's Dak. That's something that we don't. Something that's kind of like we really don't know because we're not kind of breaking down every single play.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I kind of think Dak doesn't want to throw interceptions, so he doesn't let it go. I mean, I think that's what it is.
Oh no!
But we'd have to see the
because
film.
when he throws deep, they're pretty accurate,
Yeah,
but I never see him throw deep. So I don't know if it's the offense or that's what they're asking for. I mean, it seems like if it's going towards the short passing game,
one of them that penalty.
He threw one to CeeDee Lamb that was actually in stride. And that was a good one.
And then the other one was a penalty. What else did he throw deep?
He was 64%, which is not too impressive especially when you're throwing short passes. So I don't think and then he had a chance to come down that last drive without that penalty. He didn't make that throw, but we still should have been able to come back and score. And we didn't move the ball too well. Like, we did not do well at all.
Yeah, they struggled for sure.
No, I thought Zeke ran really hard. I thought Zeke did a pretty good job. He looks better, physically than he did last year.
So
he had something to prove. Because how everyone was saying that he wasn't in the top 10 anymore and stuff like that. Zeke has a chip on his shoulder this year, and I think he's going to go a little harder.
Let's move on from the Cowboys and talk about any other surprises that you saw that kind of caught your eye this week in the NFL. Gilbert, why don't you give us your team or player or somebody that surprised you?
I guess we're kind of aligning it kind of with the Cowboys. I was seeing the game the other day between the Giants with our old head coach Jason Garrett, predictable Jason, against the Steelers. I mean, the guy threw the ball 44 times with a second-year quarterback when you have Saquon Barkley, and he didn't get he didn't get any touches compared to what how he was just chunking it downfield. And I think he had something to prove where I think he was trying to prove to everybody that he's this offensive guru, but it's the same old. They stripped his plays off the Cowboys in the first place. So, I mean,
Look,
I think that – go ahead.
That Steelers defense was looking good. I think Saquon had, at the beginning, 8 carries for -8 yards. So,
but my point is that there was no creativity, Carlos. There's no creativity. They're giving him the ball every time on first down. There's no misdirection. There's no creativity. Look at the 49ers, man. No matter what, they're going to run the ball. And you know what they're going to do, but you never know what gap they're going to use or how they're going to hand the ball over, whether it's shotgun, formation, or under the center.
Carlos, anything else that surprised you this week?
Surprised me, Cam Newton. Cam Newton looked good. I mean, his throwing was good. His running was good. He already broke the Pats record for most rush yards by a quarterback. He looked good.
1 week.
I think he also, like Zeke, has something to prove this year.
Yeah.
I think he sees this as opportunity that if he doesn't win, he knows that it's on him. So I think he looked good, and I hope he continues to look good.
That's good. What about you, Charlie? Anything that you
I liked that little running back from Kansas City, 25, that rookie.
Edwards.
He looked good. But, I mean, the holes were open in the front, but he could hit those holes quick, and he was there, so I really didn't expect that.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that surprised me this week was that I only got to see one game, and that was the Cowboys, which is all I needed to watch.
David,
so, okay.
David, let me just piggyback a little bit off of Carlos's comment. I've always been, I know that you guys know this, but I've always said that I give more credit to Belichick than Brady. A lot of Belichick's quarterbacks win as soon as Brady. I'm sorry. A lot of Belichick's quarterbacks get free agent money as soon as Brady gets hurt because they win. Brady gets hurt and they win. They got Brissett. 1 year Brissett did pretty good, and he got a free agent contract with the Colts. Jimmy G got hurt. Brady got hurt. Jimmy G stepped up, and then in years past, Castle got hurt, and he won. Brady got hurt. Castle stepped up. So he's always had quarterbacks. So I'm a big believer that the Patriots are going to keep on chucking, and they're not going to miss Tom Brady, and they will do better without Tom Brady. All
right, so let's go on to talking about getting hurt. Dead man walking after week 1. Carlos, who do you got, man?
Actually, mine's not in the NFL.
Okay.
My dead man walking is PG-13.
Ooh.
He went from last year, top 2 MVP candidate, I think he was, right? To this year, the choke artist of the year, worst performance in playoff history, losing to the Denver Nuggets when you have Kawhi Leonard on your team. So PG-13, they're dead man walking.
Dead man walking. What about you, Charlie? You got somebody?
Yes, our Cowboy linebacker that is injury prone here. And
which one? They're all injury prone.
No, not Conley. The one, what's his name?
Van Der Esch, 1.0.
Yeah, Van Der Esch. I mean, he missed 9 games last year, 6 to 9 games last year with an injury, and he's just injury prone. He's getting to be another Sean Lee, and we have to probably start trying to move away from him. So I see him as a dead man walking.
Gilbert.
My dead man walking is LeBron James. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, my dead man walking is Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, the first coach in NBA history to blow multiple 3-1 series leads. The guy should be fired. And on top of that, if you saw him coaching, there was this, I think it was a third quarter where the Nuggets just got in the lead and they had scored about 5 straight points, and he didn't even call a timeout. He was that arrogant where he's like, he thought he was Phil Jackson. You know what? They're gonna what's it called? They're gonna play it out. They'll figure it out. You know, he thought he was that arrogant that he didn't have to call a timeout. Well, he blinked his eye, and they were up by 20. So that's what happens to Doc Rivers. I think he should get fired.
Wow.
I think
Dead
you
man walking.
Dead
Man,
man walking.
So-
All right.
him.
My dead man walking is going to be Baker Mayfield because week one, even though it's only week one, under 54% completion rate. He has good receivers. He has a good team. He's the guy that's holding the Browns back. And if he doesn't improve over the first 8 games, I can see him getting benched without a doubt, you know. And he has to prove himself. If not, dead man walking.
Definitely.
Yeah. So now let's
how
go.
about nobody? I'm surprised. No, the Milwaukee coach, Mike Budenholzer.
Had
That
to be an expert coach.
well, he was a Spur for for like 17 years, 18 years or something.
We'll figure.
But then he was a head coach at Atlanta. Then he was a head coach here for 2 years. So
Save him for next week, man. Save him for next week. But let's go on. There's a lot of good games going to happen in the NFL. Let's call a book it. And Carlos, do you have a book it?
Mine, sad to say it. Well, look, the Falcons are 7.5 underdogs. Cowboys are favored by 7.5. I'm taking the Falcons. Not to win straight out. Not to win straight out.
Thank you. Whew. Jeez.
And
Sweating.
Book it.
and I just want to I just want to mention Carlos won his book it last week.
Congratulations. 1 for 1, baby.
For one.
All right. Gilbert, what do you got?
Okay, I saw the Broncos play versus the Titans, and I like the way they move the ball. I thought they have a really, really talented core of wide receivers, and I think they're underdogs 4.5. Look for them. Look for me to hit 2 in a row because I won last year. Last week taking New Orleans. This week I'm taking the Broncos plus 4.5. Book it.
Nice. Okay. Chale, what do you got?
well, the Patriots are 3.5 points underdogs to the Colts. To the Seahawks. Sorry, to the Seahawks. And even though they're going to be playing over there, I do think that the Patriots will win. No, I don't think. The Patriots will win that game. Book it.
Wow. That's bold, man. That's bold. All right. So I got going with Tom Brady. They're favored by 8.5 points over Carolina. I don't think they'll win. I think they'll win, but not by more than 8.5 for sure. So that is my book it. All right, guys. It was a good week 1, and everybody's happy that Kawhi's out. So that's good.
Love clap.
Guys, I think Carlos froze there for a little bit. Oh yeah, there he goes. I was like, man, he's just not moving at all. All right, guys, y'all take care. We'll see you next time.
See
Thanks
ya.
for watching.
Yeah.